people are just so mean. On my last video about things I hate about Mexico City, and to that I just have to say, here are 10 more things I hate about Mexico City. Hey, it's Sarah. I've lived in Mexico for 10 years and I am your guide to authentic experience in Mexico. Make sure you grab my Explore Mexico City cheat sheet down below. The first thing on today's list that I hate about Mexico City is the topes. Tope means speed bump in Spanish, and they even make memes and videos about how horrible they are. Driving through parts of Mexico City is like off-roading because of the tope. So just get ready for that. You're going to be getting knocked around quite a bit depending on what part of the city that you're in. The second thing I hate today about Mexico City is the sidewalks. The sidewalks are all different shapes and sizes with no standard, no rhyme or reason, and lots of times you just get random electric poles thrown up right in the middle of them. This is an absolute nightmare for someone in a wheelchair with a stroller or anything on wheels. And the sidewalks are always loaded up with street vendors, which brings me to number 3. The third thing I hate about Mexico City are the hawkers and the random vendors just strewn all over the place. They clog up the sidewalk so that you are forced to walk in the street. They force past you on the metro and step on your feet. And they block up the views of the famous monuments and amazing centuries-old buildings and ruin your pictures. That being said, I do kind of like to buy some of the stuff from the guys near Zocalo. They got some really cute bags. Just saying. You want a tour of Mexico City in spite of all of these things? Check out the tour packages that we offer over at SeñorSarahsClassroom.com. We're going down to the description. The fourth thing I cannot stand about Mexico City is the stealing and the scams. This even happened at my wedding. The waitstaff, which we paid an arm and a leg for at my wedding, was trying to steal my sister-in-law's blender, which we brought to prepare a meal for one of the guests who had special needs. The stealing and the scams know no bounds in Mexico City. It's very difficult also to get justice for this kind of thing in Mexico. A lot of time, the scams are very elaborate, with an entire mob of crooks waiting to pounce if you try to protest and get justice. Oftentimes, the police either won't intervene, or they're actually in on the scam. You definitely have to be in the know when you are visiting Mexico City to protect yourself from this sort of thing. Do you want to protect yourself from some of the most common scams in Mexico City? Make sure you watch my video about the top 6 scams in Mexico City after you finish this one. Oh, and please make sure you finish this video first. That's actually really important for me. The fifth thing I can't stand about Mexico City is the air pollution. I've gotten some comments about this on other videos, and yeah, the air pollution is real in Mexico City. It has improved greatly over the past several years as the government continues to take measures to improve the air pollution, but it's still a problem. Sometimes I even wake up with a sore throat because the air pollution is so bad. In fact, one of my friends came to visit me a few years ago here in Mexico City, and she had lots of irritation with nose polyps simply because of the pollution. If you have allergies or asthma, this is definitely something you want to consider before planning a trip to Mexico City. The sixth thing I hate about Mexico City is when people are begging for money. This is in no way meant to be insensitive to those that have less blessings than I do in life. But remember, this is intended to help you prepare for things that might make you uncomfortable when you visit Mexico City. One of the big things that I notice is there's a lot of outdoor seating for restaurants in Mexico City, which is super cool. But it also makes you a target for people begging for money or people wanting to walk up to you while you're eating and selling you other things. The first time I visited Mexico City, this was one of my most uncomfortable experiences. I was having dinner with a friend at one of these nice outdoor places, and a man came up asking for money. When we told him that we didn't have any, he insisted that we had to have had some money because we were going to have to pay for our dinner at the restaurant. I remember feeling so extremely just uneasy and uncomfortable in that moment. Now, since I've been here for years, I've kind of gotten used to this, but it's still not something that I like. And so it's something that you should be aware of. That people, if you do choose to sit outside at some of the outdoor seating for restaurants, you probably will be bothered at least once or twice while you're having your meal by people asking you for money or trying to sell you candy or something else. Are these tips helpful for you? Make sure you give me a like. The seventh thing I hate about Mexico City are the windshield cleaners or people just crowding your car. When you stop at a stoplight in certain areas of Mexico City, you're going to be flooded with people coming at your car, which can really make you nervous. Most of the time, these are guys that come up and they might spray, looks like they're spraying like a Coca-Cola bottle of water on your windshield, and then they're going to clean your windshield. You don't really need to be alarmed. This is common and this is what they do for work. However, it can make you a little bit nervous to be sitting there and have people coming at your car. Also, those guys that come up and spray your windshield, they don't ask for permission. They just walk up and start spraying it. And even if you tell them no, a lot of times they will do it anyway. As soon as you start to pull up to a red light, start doing this. This is Mexico City code for no. Sometimes they will pay attention to you and they will go away. Sometimes they will not. I encourage you to always have a little bit of change on hand, 5 pesos, to go ahead and give to these guys when they clean your windshield. It might be your reaction to be stubborn and say, no, I didn't ask for it, I don't want to pay for it, but I can tell you that it's better just to give them a few pesos because you don't want to fight on your hands. Story time! One time we were stopped at a stoplight with the window open just a little bit, and a guy came up to the car, stuck his fingers in the window, and was asking us for money. Now, thankfully, he was harmless. He just wanted some money, but it makes you real nervous for somebody to stick their hands in your car. If you are going to be driving through some sketchier looking neighborhoods in Mexico City, I encourage you to keep your windows completely up. The 8th thing I can't stand about Mexico City is the buses do whatever they want. They will park right in the middle of traffic to pick up passengers or drop them off, and they do not care that they are blocking up traffic. It's extremely inconsiderate, and traffic in Mexico City is bad enough without buses just randomly stopping on a 4-lane highway to drop off passengers. By the way, that's absolutely illegal, but they do it anyway. The 9th thing I hate about Mexico City is the pop-up parties. Maybe you're confused because I just said parties. Why would I hate that? Maybe because I'm not invited? No. People will pop up these tents kind of things that are like especially made for this purpose, block off the street, and have their party blaring all night until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, this probably won't be a problem if you're staying in a nicer area or an area with lots of hotels and lots of businesses. But nightclubs with loud music or inconsiderate fellow hotel guests with loud music are also a thing. So we're just going to keep it all in the same category. Oh, and if you have fellow hotel guests that are inconsiderate, the hotel staff might not do anything about it. It just depends on the hotel that you're in. The 10th thing I hate about Mexico City are the protests. There's a protest or march just about daily in Mexico City, and they can really stop the whole city from spinning. Most of these marches and protests are peaceful, but some of them actually destroy local businesses and monuments. It's also really common for people to block the streets in protest. Now, I neither support their cause nor oppose it. This is not commentary on the social issues behind the protests. I just can't stand the aftermath of the protests. On occasion, when we're trying to get somewhere, we'll just turn around and go back home because you can't get anywhere because they've blocked up the streets. So if Mexico City is so terrible, why on earth should you visit? Find the answer in my next video, 10 things that I love about Mexico City. Oh, and subscribe. Nos vemos!